now, so I wouldn't miss. So you guys would be able to review this afterwards. All right. So again, welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. Uh, Again, this is the basics to Facebook marketing for those who are just joining us, and I'll be your host. I'm Jed. Okay. To begin, let's just go through the topics that we're going to discuss. All right. First, the basics. I'm going to help you develop a good profile and cover photo. Next step is I'm going to help you make the most out of your profile because there are some stuff in your profile that actually can affect your visibility. Next is I'm going to breeze you through my favorite insights. It's a basics to the usual statistics gathered from Facebook. So I'm going to help you understand better what those numbers mean and also how you can make the most of it. And last but not the least, if you're managing your Facebook account as a group, I'll help you by giving you some tips on how to make that more efficient. Okay, so let's start off with an easy one. I'm going to help you develop a good profile and cover photo for your like page. First step is your profile photo. Uh, this is the most important part of your account, mainly because number one, it's seen everywhere. Wherever you go, you're going to see your profile photo. It's from your comments and your timeline, and most especially, this is what people initially see when people search for you, either directly from Facebook or through Google. Also, this is a good source of first impression. So there's some sort of legitimacy that can be derived from a good profile photo, right? And last but not the least, in line with the first bullet, this is a good source of branding. So a good profile photo should allow you to become initially recognizable. What I mean there is, take for example, WWF. When you see that panda picture, you initially remember WWF. That's because of their branding, right? You see it everywhere. So initially, you're going to associate the image of WWF to that particular panda. And to be able to do that on your case, we need to help you develop a good profile photo that's initially recognizable, that could give you good branding, all right? So to develop a good profile photo, the first thing you need to do is to properly scale it. The suggested size or dimensions for a good profile photo is 180 by 180. That's in pixels, px. Uh, but if you upload that photo, Facebook is going to crop about 20 pixels for each side. So it's going to be uploaded to 160 by 160 px. So make sure that your profile photo isn't up to the edge because otherwise it might get cropped. Okay. So good to give it a bit of a margin, just a little margin, just to make sure that no part of your image or your logo would get cropped. Another thing to take note of when when you're developing a good profile photo is that it should be recognizable when it's shrunk to a smaller size. Why is that? Because remember that your profile photo appears everywhere, be it when you type in comments or when people see your posts on the newsfeed. And usually, your profile photo is shrunk to a smaller size during these instances. So you should make sure that your logo is still recognizable even when it's shrunk. So some good test dimensions is first 86 by 86 pixels. This is the size of your profile picture during your posts in the timeline or your own timeline. And last but not the least, at 43 by 43 pixels, which is the size of your profile photo when you leave a comment at the comment section. So those are a bit small, so some good designing might be needed, okay? But don't worry about the designing part. I know a lot of you have difficulties with designing. I'm going to be helping you later with that, don't worry. And another good tip is that you should avoid text on your profile photo. Why? Because number one, it's not recognizable. Again, going back to the previous bullet, it's not recognizable when it's shrunk. People wouldn't be able to read that. Plus, sometimes when you view a profile photo and it's not high def, it's going to get pixelated and it's going to be extremely hard to read and it's going to mess up your entire picture. So my personal advice to you is just focus on your logo itself. All right, so last but not the least, use the same photo or the same profile photo for all of your social media accounts. This equates to good branding. Consistency with this also equates to good branding. The more people you see, the more instances that people see this particular photo, the more that they associate this to you, okay? Making you initially recognizable just by your logo itself, right? So that's good branding. I hope that's all clear. I know I'm just really breezing through these now. This is so we can make room for more questions later, all right? So next up is I'm going to show you some good ideas on profile photos. If you look at the logos of, or the profile photos of Open Data Philippines and Transparency International, where they really succeed is making it, number one, initially recognizable, right? That, and it also looks consistently well when shrunk, right? Still, again, it's all about being able to recognize your logo. So these are good. These are good examples to take into consideration. You may be able to copy from their concepts, etc. So I hope that's clear. Next up. Now, next is your cover photo. Now, some would argue that your cover photo is one of the most important parts of your profile as well, and I would have to agree. Number one, because it's the most prominent picture in your profile. So when you visit your profile, that's the one that's going to scream, "This is me," right? So for a good cover photo, the first tip I would have to give you is, number one, you should always have it properly scaled to avoid cropping any part of it. The proper size of a good cover photo is at 851 by 315 pixels, as you can see there. Next up, it should be eye-catching and engaging. So the general rule of thumb for cover photos is that you should treat it the same way as you treat your website or your homepage on your website. It should be eye-catching and engaging because it should draw your, it should be able to draw the people visiting your website to actually digest what's in your timeline and to actually, sorry, excuse me for that, to actually go through the entire, through all their content, right? And some other tips is that it should initially be able to tell your visitors, number one, what your organization is all about, so they'd have a clear picture on what they should expect, also on the content that they should expect, and also what your site visitor or what you expect your site visitor to do after visiting your page. So again, these are general rules of thumb used for web pages as well, or home pages of your website. So these actually apply to your cover photo as well. These are really good tips that you should do as well. So okay, it's a bit hard to imagine, right, when it's into words. So I'm going to give you some good examples as well. Here's a good example from our partner in Malaysia. It's Souls 24 by 7. It's not entirely clear when it comes to a call to action. But what it succeeds, though, is that it shows you directly what you can expect from it, what kind of organization they are, right? Because one look at it, you're going to see, hey, they're about education because I see a kid and I see a tutor and they're teaching it. So it already gives you an overview, or it already manages your expectations of what you can or what you can expect if you go through the entire timeline. So that's a good cover photo. On the other hand, there's also Open Data Philippines again. They're going to get a gold star from me. So where Open Data Philippines succeed, though, on the other hand, is that it gives you a clear call to action. It doesn't necessarily give you an idea of what they do, but it immediately promotes what you're supposed to do. So just like that, as simple as that, they put data.gov.ph. That simply means go visit their website, right? It's loud and clear. It's very clean, very sleek, easy to understand, right? So again, cover photos need not to be complicated as long as it initially manages the expectations of your visitors, and also as long as it has a good call to action. So the next question about cover photos and profile photos are that, hey, what if I don't have any design experience, right? So don't worry, guys. I know designing is a bit tricky for most people, and I also went through that particular phase. So as a recent techie myself, I've discovered, the blessing from heaven, which is Canva.com. It's a very, very easy to use software. Actually, not software. It's actually a cloud tool. It's free as well. And ironically, you can access it through your Facebook account too. So, okay, I'm going to show you Canva right now, okay? So this is canva.com. Again, this is free. So to help you with this is that the best part of it is that it provides you with presets on sizes, making sure that to make sure that your image is properly has the proper dimensions to avoid cropping. So if you scroll down here, hang on, you can see this one right here, Facebook event cover photo, Facebook cover photo, and as you can see, there's no profile photo, right? So if you can't see that, just use custom dimensions and type it in, 180 by 180. That's about it. Now, how is Canva easy to use? One thing I love about Canva is that it's just a drag and drop interface. So from here, you could just you could just click in this, which is from the layout. Then you can easily upload your logo here. So just to show you that, I'm going to test it with our TechSoup Asia Pacific logo right there. And voila. Sorry, I'm really sorry about my cough here. A bit under the weather. So, but then again, then it's just a matter of, oh, sorry, it didn't work like that. So, but anyway, you get my drift. Sorry. It's very easy to use, and it will help you definitely, it will definitely help you create an appropriately sized profile photo. All right, okay, just test that out again here and there. That's the TechSoup logo. Testing it on Google, there. So when you download that, that's already appropriately sized for your profile photo. And the same goes with your cover photo. I'm going to show you that quick. I'm going to show you how that works quickly. So I know one of the tricky parts about the Facebook cover photo is that your profile photo is overlapping it a bit. What's good about Canva is that it shows you where it overlaps as well, allowing you to appropriately, work around that. Okay, so I hope that's clear for the photos for now. So I'm going to go back to our presentation. Again, I hope you use Canva to your advantage as well. Next up, it's maximizing your profiles. Uh, there are a lot of things in your profile that you don't know actually play a bigger role. So I'm going to breeze you through all of those. Number one, the address and contact details. That is a very, very important detail that you should never forget. Why? Because it provides you with some initial sense of legitimacy, most especially if you're a nonprofit and most especially if you're not well known yet. This gives you the sense of accountability, which usually most people would love, because if they want to learn more about you, then they can easily contact you through that, right? Next up is page verification. Page verification is basically Facebook uh, clarifying that that you actually own that page and this particular organization associated to that page actually exists. Don't worry, I'm going to breeze you through how to do this later on. And last but not the least, similar page suggestions. Similar page suggestions give you a good pool of likes. Actually, it can draw in more likes because by allowing Facebook to suggest you to other people means if sorry, if similar page suggestions functions like this. So if somebody likes a particular page, it allows Facebook to actually recommend your page as well if you're representing the similar interest. All right. I hope I'm not going too fast. So if if I am, please do raise a question and I will just go back again during the question and answer. All right. So to help you do the page verification and similar page suggestions, I'm going to go back to our Facebook now here. So first up, everything's accessed through settings. Just click that right there. Should be right there. So page verification is right here. So currently our page isn't verified yet. So just click that here, verify this page. To verify your page, the only thing you need to do is to actually provide a phone number, or you can also send documents. The documents that they're usually looking for are certain bills. This is just so that Facebook could reassure that the organization presented in this particular like page actually exists and that they're actually real. So this is one way of Facebook confirming that you are actually real. So once you're verified, the perk that you can get is that Facebook would give you some priority when doing searches, so you actually appear higher during searches. All right. So please do try that out. On the other hand, we also have the similar the similar page suggestions that can be easily accessed right here as well. Just right at the bottom, just press edit there and just tick that box if it isn't yet. If you do, that will allow Facebook again to recommend your page to people who are who have a similar interest as your page. All right. So again, I'm going to go back to our presentation. We are actually going quite fast right now, so I hope this isn't too fast. So moving on, I'm going to help you now. There are also some tools in Facebook that can actually allow you to directly promote your product. The first thing, the most important part of it is the call to action. Number one, it's because it's easy to set up, and number two, because it's the free part, right? So the call to action is a button that directly appears from your cover photo, just right there, as you can see on my screen. Sorry, on my screen grab. This call to action button allows you to redirect users from your like page directly to your website, to your app, or if you're selling a page or so, right? So just to help you set that up, I'm going to go back to our Facebook page, just Facebook page, and that should appear right here. So just right there. I hope you can see that. I'm just going to click that right now. So to set that up, just click that, and you can see here, edit call to action. So just press edit call to action, and that will redirect you to the setup part immediately. So the first thing you need to do is you need to choose a button. What are you asking people to do, right? In our case, because we're from TechSoup, we ask them to sign up. We ask them to sign their nonprofit up, so it says sign up. But other than that, you also have other presets, which include here, book now, contact us. So let's say we're gonna go contact us. So let's click that now. And from there, you can add in the details here, right below, all right? And that changes, and yeah, that's for you to personalize as well, all right? It also provides you different call to actions for your iPhone and Androids. There, that's what it's going to look like right there. So I hope that was easy. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that for now. So going back to our presentation again. So that's the call to action. That's a good way to actually directly promote uh, your product or your website and so on directly from your Facebook. But as I see it is that the call to action is a bit stagnant, or it's a bit static in the sense that you're actually waiting for people to visit your to visit your like page and to actually click that. So more often than not, it's a bit static. So let's try to find a more active way of reaching out, right? So a more active way of reaching out is to, oh sorry, we're gonna skip that. Sure. Another static way of doing it as well is through apps as well. Apps allows you to sync various other social media perhaps or other tools you're using directly to your like page, making it easily accessible to your like page as well. So a good example are social media accounts. You can actually sync your social media directly to your like page too. So I'm going to go back to our like page now and show you how it works. So right now I've already synced my Twitter and our YouTube to it. So if you click if you click the YouTube tab right here, it's going to directly show you our YouTube channel. Hang on a bit. So there, you can immediately see the videos that we've uploaded right there. The same goes with Twitter too. If you click the Twitter tab, that will direct you there. You're gonna see our most recent tweets immediately. So the question is now, how do you set that up? So the key thing about setting up the apps is that there's no list or directory that Facebook provides. So what you need to do is to proactively search for it. So take for example, I want to add in my YouTube app. So it's all about Googling things actually. So YouTube app for Facebook. and it should redirect you here, YouTube app. Then, more often than not, these pages will actually provide you with some details, but you can easily just press Use App, and that should redirect you here at Page tab. So just select which page you'd like to sync it in. Say, for example, I'm going to put it uh, in a mock like page I've created recently, and just add Page tab as quickly as that. So I'm not going to proceed, but after you press Add Page tab, it will initially install the app, making it immediately visible as a tab in your like page. All right? Again, I hope that's simple enough. So going back, again, I was talking earlier about a more active way of reaching out. So there's a new, there's a new tool which Facebook introduced just this year. It's called a lead ad. So a lead ad is a paid ad, actually. It's a paid post. It appears on your timeline. And what it does is that, sorry about that. And what lead ads do is that if a person clicks that, it will ask that person to provide their details, giving you more information about the people who are interested about your like page or who are interested on your initiative or so. So what kind of information are provided? It will basically depend on the person who clicked that. Initially, what they can provide, I think, is name, phone, email, and so on. But that again is based on the discretion of the person and how much you'd like to share. The initial benefit of this is that it allows you to create an immediate database of people without actually having to actively search names, right? So this gives you a good working database already of people whom you can contact in the future. So that's about it for maximizing your profile. Again, it's extremely simple. Now we're going to move on to my personal favorite, which is basic insights. So insights is the statistics gathered by Facebook. It's usually about the people who visit your page and also about the visibility of your posts. So the main goal in understanding insights is, number one, you should understand who your audience is to tailor better content, right? And secondly, to know what time it's best to put up a post. And you can do all of those through basic Facebook insights. I'm going to breeze you through that right now. First up is on posts. The question is, when is it good to post? So from Facebook itself, you can actually gather what time most of your audience is online. All right? And you can see it easily here in the screen graph. So to help you navigate, we're going to go to our Facebook page again. I'm going to help you navigate through that. So right here, you can see the tab that says Insights if you're the administrator. So just click that, and that should redirect you immediately to that page. Wait up. Sorry about that, it's just taking a bit of a while. Okay, so let's just skip that and go to posts directly. There you go. So it's just gathering data right now. I'm sorry for the lag there. But the data shown here should look like this. All right, it's really taking a bit of a while. Anyway, so again, it should look like this. So what are the important things to know? Number one, you should look at the best days, and that's highlighted here at the very top, right here, days. And there's a number right at the top of it, right? Sunday is 670. It means 670 people were online, and so on and so forth. So first up is you're going to identify which day it's best by identifying which has the higher reach. So based on my data right here, it's Sunday as it's 670 people were active that day, right? Now the next thing you need to know is what time it is, what time it's best to actually post on that day. So these vary per day. So to do that, all you need to do is to highlight that particular tab, that particular day, and it will show you a line graph shown here. So right here it shows that the peak time was at about either 10 p.m. or right about noon, as you can see there. So it's good to take note of that so you'd know when it's best to put up a post. Because by doing so, you're making sure that a lot of people are going to be able to see that post. All right? I'm going to check back on our like page, and it hasn't loaded, so I'm really sorry about that. Okay, so moving on from this. So how do you apply this? The basic application of the insights and posts is through by scheduling posts. This is actually a good way of managing your time as well, because you can do if you get the data on what time it's best to post and what days it's best to post as well, you can immediately do this in one sitting. Take for example, just spend an hour creating all the posts you need to do for the week and just schedule them. So how do you schedule a post? It's very easy. So I'm going to go back to our like page here. Again, I'm sorry for the lag on the insights there. But to put up a post, say I'm going to write hello. And to schedule that, just click the time here, or easier is just press the drop down right beside publish, and there, schedule. Press that, put in the date here and the time here, and press schedule. That will automatically be posted come the date you've indicated. Come the time and date which you've already indicated. It's very easy, right? So again, this is one way of making sure that a lot of people would be able to see your post because you're posting at the right time. One quick thing to take note of, the data provided in the post section, it's only good for 7 days. It only reflects the your activity from the past 7 days. So the best way to go about it is to actually put up an Excel sheet and gather the data weekly. So we actually do that in TechSoup, and I'm going to give you a bit of a peek on how we do it. So here I actually have a spreadsheet called Insights, and you can see it here. So this is my reach for every Sunday, and this is the best times as indicated on Facebook. These are my reach on Mondays, and so on. So what I'd like you to do from here is to find either a pattern on when it's best, the pattern on the particular day and time. So you could schedule, important posts on that particular time and day. And on the other hand, you can also understand your audience better and how they're interacting with your posts, right? Because you can see what time they're most active and so on. So that's, again, very easy. Just put up an Excel sheet and just try to look for a pattern or try to look for recurring times when it's best. Okay? Now, on the other hand, there's also another more important part of Facebook Insights, which is people. So the people part of the insight talks mainly about your audience and who they're composed of. So this goes hand in hand with your insights and posts, because this can allow you to explain why people are more active on this particular day or time, right? If you see on your posts insight that a lot of people are active at 3 a.m. in your time, better go to people and check why that's happening. So a good explanation might be that a lot of your audience are coming from Europe or coming from a different time zone, right? And you can identify that by visiting the people section. So again, to access that, we're going to go through here. Then go back to Insights. It's just taking a bit of a while to load. And right at the bottom here, it's People. Just click the People tab. Now there are two different sets of data gathered through the People tab. Number one is your fans, indicating everyone who has liked your page ever since, and the people reached. People reached is basically the number of people, or the people who have liked your page that have actually seen your post and interacted with your post in the past 28 days. All right? So I'm just going to go back here. So this is important, number one, because this explains the time. This gives you a good idea on why that particular time is effective for you to post. And also this gives you an idea in terms of language. If you're the type of organization who's serving a lot of countries, I know language barrier is a big issue. So this can help you tailor your posts as well, and so on. So I hope that made sense for now. So a good application of this is through targeted posts. take for example, you have to announce something, but it's only significant for maybe your audience who are coming from Singapore or coming from the Philippines. That happened to us once before when we had a big program that we had to launch, but it's only applicable to Singapore. So what we did was we used a targeted post for that particular post to appear only for our likes that came from Singapore. So how do you do this? Again, sorry, I'm going to go back to my Facebook page here. So let's type in again, hello. Hello, maybe Philippines. Now to target that, just press this crosshairs thing right here. Click that, and that should give you the metrics and the filters that you're going to use right there. You can filter them based on age, gender, location, even language, and weirdly enough, you can also filter them through their interests, right? And in addition to that, you can also put in more demographics like relationship status and educational level. So if you want to post something that's only good for your married people, for married fans, that's really possible actually. So again, this isn't generally useful, but now every now and then you might find some particular use for this, most especially for organizations that are catering more than one country. So, or if you're exploring more on multilingual posts, this can really come in handy. All right. A quick note though, it's not entirely when you target a post, it's not entirely restricted. So take for example, you have two fans. One is from the US and one is from Asia. So if you created a targeted post that should only be visible in the people in the US, if this person from the US is friends with the fan from your fan in Asia, and if your fan in the US actually comments on that restricted post, there's a chance that the person from Asia would be able to see this. Because again, the person from the US as a friend of that person from Asia interacted with it. So there's a chance that the person from Asia might see this on their timeline as an activity done by his friend. I hope that made sense. Sorry about that. So okay, last but not the least, I'm going to help you manage Facebook as a team. I know we're going really fast here, but that's also good so we can make room for more questions at the end. All right, so I'm just going to breeze through this now just so we could go on to the question and answer portion. So managing pages as a team, the number one thing you need to know is that there are different roles that you can assign to people and that you can actually manage Facebook as a team directly from Facebook itself. So here's a big breeze through on the roles that you could assign. So the admin is the boss. That's the person who created the like page. The editor is basically second to the boss. He can do everything. He or she can do everything except provide roles to other people. Next is the moderator, which is usually applicable to replying to comments and messages, the advertiser and the analyst, and so on. That's very basic. So to teach you how to manage roles, all you need to do is go to settings again, leave this page, okay, and go here, page roles. And the page role right here is, you can see, these are the people managing TechSoup Asia right now, the TechSoup Asia Pacific page. And to add in a person, okay, one quick note, to add in a person as either an admin or so on and so forth, you need to be friends with him or her first, okay? So that's one quick thing to take note of. So take, for example, I'm going to add in my brother. So I'm going to add in Jazz. Right there, that's his name. And you can provide a particular role here. You can add him as an admin, you can add him as an editor, moderator, advertiser, analyst, and so on. And it's very useful to actually manage Facebook as a team, mainly because, number one, you could easily delegate tasks to one another, and also that the entire weight of managing the page isn't solely on one person. So it's very convenient to use this particular feature as well. Right? So going back, so the last part here is some quick tips. Number one, always attribute posts or comments to the organization. If you're managing uh, several like pages, or if you're managing a like page as a team, there is a chance that you may tend to forget switching to your organization account, if that makes sense. So just to show you how that works, I'm going to go back here, leave this page. So what I mean by attribute, sorry, you're seeing my timeline now. So what I mean there is this part right here. You can, if you're using your like page, it should be, I mean, it should be important that you should keep it as your like page. That's for branding purposes, okay? So whether you're posting, replying to comments, or replying to messages, it's really important to remember to attribute it to your organization and not yourself, all right? This is for branding purposes and for branding purposes alone, actually. This is gonna this is gonna be very effective in the long run, so don't worry about the hassle there. Okay, going back now. So another thing is that if you have guest editors or new people that you've just added to the team, best ask them to save their posts as a draft first for review. Okay, and that can be easily done. Okay, going back to our page again, that can be easily done here. So if you're gonna publish something right here, save as a draft. Now let's try to do that test. Now to see uh, to see the drafts, you just go to Publishing Tools, and all of the drafts should appear here. And it's not, again, I'm not entirely sure why it's taking a while. Sorry about that. There you go. And you can see that there. So here you can directly edit it, make your changes if you don't like what's content, and so on before it's immediately published, right? Again, this is directly relates to branding again. Now, going back, always have at least two moderators. This makes it easier for you if one of your moderators leaves the organization. So this makes it very convenient for a switchover. Always have a dedicated person to handle social media. This one, I'm very keen on you exercising this particular tip. Why is it important to have one person or to have dedicated person or a dedicated team to handle social media? Is because so you can keep the tone of the content, similar. Again, we as people, we have different ways of saying things, and in terms of branding, again, consistency is the key. So to make it effective, you need to have a dedicated person doing all of the posts. I don't mean just one person. It could be a team. It's as long as that they're keeping that particular tone alive. All right. I hope that made sense. Okay. So, and last but not the least, if you're using various other social networks, not just Facebook, it's easy to use Hootsuite to allow you to manage both Facebook and your other social accounts as well. So Hootsuite, it has a free version which you can easily use. What Hootsuite does is it allows you to post across different networks immediately. Like for example, if I want to post something on Facebook and on Google Plus and on LinkedIn, I only need to type that post in once, and I can just tick in which social media network I'd like to post in, and just press post, and it will post immediately across all three networks. It's as easy as that. So that was about it for my presentation. I hope you found it extremely educational at the very least. So I'm gonna go now to the questions. All right. Sorry again for my cough there. I have a bad throat. So right now, I really don't have much questions. That's unusual. So the first question here is that the audio is very poor and keeps breaking up. I can't phone in. And Kayla, yes, there will be a recording that I will be sending out to you. So I hope that was there will be a recording, yeah, that I will be sending right after this. Okay, next question. Hi, Jed. I'm Arena. For some reason, I don't have a target post button. Okay, sorry. Rena, could you send me that is rather unusual. Could you send me a screenshot of that to my email, and we'll talk about it there. Uh, one thing that Also, one thing you might want to take note of is that are you using your organization account, or are you using your like page, or are you on your personal account? Because you can't target posts on your personal account, so that might be the reason. But if not, then yeah, just send me a screenshot and let's start from there. Okay, Jolly, tips on maximizing the use of Facebook ads. Okay, this is a really good question. I haven't really dwelled on maximizing Facebook ads because I wanted to focus more on the free stuff, and because Facebook ads are actually paid. So, right now I don't have an answer for you yet, Zoe. I haven't done much research on Facebook ads and if they actually have a different dynamic. But again, uh, I will have to get back to you on that. All right. I'm sorry about that, Jelly. Okay. Other questions? Okay, Irina, you could. Sorry, just going back to Irina, you could send in your screenshot at the email highlighted on my screen right here. It's jed@techsoup.asia. So okay, hi Jed. Thanks for the. Peter has a question here. Do you have any advice to a Facebook page beginner, e.g., strategy planning? Okay, Peter. So for strategy and planning, that's a really good question. So my quick tip on you is just post as much as you can within a week, just for you to get your insights started. Okay, just so your Facebook account or your Facebook like page could start drawing in numbers. All right. A quick tip, number one, if you're gonna post, try to post just once a day, because if you post more than that, there is a chance that Facebook will limit the reach entirely. Why? It's because it's also to keep people from being flooded by your posts. Okay. And another quick tip is if you're posting up a link, it's best to have the link in the text alone and just post up a picture instead. So I know that didn't make much sense. So I'm going to show you a good example right here. So for quick tips on posting, Peter, this is a good tip. Sorry. As you see here, I'm actually promoting a link, right? Which is here. So instead of just putting the link preview, I would highly suggest posting up a photo instead. Then just have the link be embedded in your text. Why is that? This is easier to see immediately because most especially if you're using a mobile, you tend to actually just scroll quickly, right? And more often than not, link previews are quite small and you won't be able to see them immediately. Not unlike pictures, which will actually demand your attention, right? So this allows for more people to actually see your post and also to allow you to increase your reach as well. So again, going back to my to a very basic and essential tip, post as much as you can or post at least once a day for a week just to get your insights started, and from there you can work on it, right? I hope that answered your question, Peter. So I'm just going to go back to the questions here. I'm sorry. Uh, okay, Charmaine here asked, when you first create a page, you can't get insights till you have 100 likes, am I right? Yes, Charmaine, sadly that is, right? So a good way to solve that, Charmaine, is by suggesting people or your friends initially like it. So just so you could get your, again, just so you could get your insights started. Okay. Next question, will you be having sessions in the future for Facebook post promotions? That's a good question, Jasmine, and that's also a good suggestion. Yes, that would be definitely worth considering, and we'll be considering that for the next few webinars, all right? Okay, Jolly, next question. Is it true that not everyone who liked your page can see your post? Quick tips on how your post can have more reach. Yes, that is true, Jolly. For some particular reason, Facebook is now limiting your actual reach, and perhaps this is because to avoid, perhaps this is for you to avoid, flooding pages, but I'm not entirely sure why they do it. So again, going back to my earlier discussion on insights, the best way to actually expand your reach is through your insights. Try to find the sweet spot on when most of your people are when a lot of your audience is online and post then. But what actually drives reach, to be all honest, is engagement. Engagement examples are comments and likes. So the more people who like or comment on your post can keep boosting your entire reach. So what I do actually is I ask people to, hey, could you like this? I know it's an unusual start, but we have to start somewhere, right? So that's actually the best way to go. Or you can use your personal account to just leave a comment, just so that your friends could see it, and it will snowball from there. Okay. So next question. Yes, Irina will be sending out a soft copy of your presentation. And Just Real asks, how can I increase engagement on our org's post? Again, Just Real, to actually increase your overall engagement is actually, uh, number one, the first thing you need to take into consideration is if there are people seeing your post. That's when the insights come to play. You need to find the sweet spot and when a lot of your audience is online, and when just to make sure that most of them can see that particular post. But what actually drives engagement is the content itself. Uh, One good lesson provided to me before in a Microsoft session was that social media is both a science and an art. We can use as much statistics as we can. We can use that to help us guide our posts. But if the content isn't good, then it really isn't good. So it's it's kind of like an interplay between using your insights and being creative on your posts. I know that's not really a good answer, just real, but because it's a bit vague. So the more concrete answer that I could give you is again use your insights. Use the insights. You study the numbers to basically increase the chances of people seeing that, and then rely on good content to increase engagement. Right? All right. So that was the last of the questions. So do you still have questions, guys? Wait, hang on. So I think somebody's chatting. So, okay, last question here is so for the people who are asking about the recording, this will be immediately available right after this. I'll be sending that through a post webinar email right after this, if that's okay. So expect that today, and I also have to upload it on our YouTube page. And yes, we do have a YouTube page. Please do follow that. We have cool things on our YouTube page as well, including Tech Made Easy, which is explaining technology in under 60 seconds. So again, guys, do you still have any questions, any concerns? I hope this was extremely helpful to you guys. I'm not sure if I was able to meet your expectations. I hope this was good. Okay, for comment and question. Hmm. Okay, here are some follow-up questions. From Abigail, for comments and questions on one's post, how long should it take to answer the comments? I'm not sure in what particular context this is. So if you're the page admin and if you're provided and somebody sent you a question, I know Facebook has a certain rating for this. You should be able to answer within the day. That's the general rule of thumb. And yeah, actually, that's basically the basic general rule of thumb. But just be able to answer that within the day, and that should keep you, yeah. So okay. Oh, here's a good question from Nurjana. Hello there from Indonesia. Does the content in Facebook should also match Twitter, YouTube, or YouTube account? Okay, so this is all about syncing your content. I I highly agree on syncing content from Facebook, Google Plus, YouTube, and LinkedIn, but never Twitter. Avoid syncing Twitter to your Facebook. By syncing is that when you tweet, it automatically posts as a Facebook post. I would highly I would I highly discourage that, Regina, because it tends to flood people. Because if you're the type of person who tweets a lot, it's okay when it's Twitter. It's okay in Twitter. It's okay to post like 10 tweets in about 5 minutes. That's okay. Nobody will bat an eye. So, but if it's on Facebook and if you sync that and you send out 10 tweets which automatically syncs to your Facebook timeline, that's going to be flooding people, and that's also a red flag for Facebook. And what they're going to do is, the more you flood people, the, the tendency is the more TechSoup will limit your overall reach. So meaning the next post would actually just reach maybe about 5 people or 10. So it's also, detrimental to your entire, like page. So try to avoid it when it comes to Twitter. But on Instagram and on YouTube and LinkedIn and so on, it's good. And yes, you could also sync your Instagram as well to your Facebook. Just search for the Instagram tab or Instagram app, and you can easily sync that to your like page. Okay, guys. Any last questions? Please do ask questions. I think there's a lot more to ask if you want. Okay, so regarding the number. Oh, okay, so that's it. Here's a good question from Jelly. Regarding the number of reach, does it mean that they saw the post or they clicked the post? Now, in terms of the terminology when it comes to reach, it means that they just saw it. They just saw it on their newsfeed. When they actually like it or leave a comment on it, that's already engagement. That's a different statistics. That's a different statistical entirely. So yes, they can click it, but it's still considered as just it's all. But when you click that particular post, it's also the same as just seeing it on your newsfeed. I hope that made sense. Okay, so guys, any last questions? So that was the last question so far. Just gonna give you a few more. We still have 5 more minutes based on my time here. So please do punch in your last questions. Okay, so far so far I'm no longer getting questions. So I hope again this session was helpful to everyone. I will be providing a recording of this right after. I will be sending it through a post-webinar email. And, and in line with that, I'm also going to send in a survey just to ask what topics you'd like to talk about next, and also if you how you think we could improve the webinars. All right. So again, guys, thank you so much for sharing this morning with me, and I'll see you again soon. All right. So thank you so much. All right. So I'm gonna stop the recording now, guys. So bye bye.